Hello, and welcome to another Wolfram Tech Talk. I'm Arben Calzici, a content developer and instructor with the Wolfram U team, and today I have here with me Rory Foulger, an instructional designer and technologist. They work on basically everything education related. I think it's kind of ill-defined, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, but today they're going to be telling us about curriculum design and computational thinking more generally. So take it away, Rory.
Awesome. Hi. So I work with the education programs at Wolfram. So especially the high school summer camp, our middle school summer camp, our emerging leaders program, which is a follow-up to our high school camp, student ambassador program, and a few other smaller things that are less public facing.
So the first question is, are you okay?
Am I okay?
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. Summer was hard, but we're recovering now that we're into September.
Yeah, and the summer programs are very worth it.
The summer programs are great, and we get a lot out of the kids, and the kids have a great time.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
It's
Definitely,
a lot of hard work.
Definitely a highlight, but some
Yeah.
long days, as we've said.
Yeah. So for the high school summer camp is our longest serving program. So I think this year was our 10th year that we've done the summer camps, the high school summer camp. And so that's, obviously for the kind of high school age kids. It's a 2.5 week camp where they do a project over the course of the 2.5 weeks where they really dive deep into a subject that really interests them. And we kind of blend that with a lot of instruction in Wolfram Language and in computational thinking, and then a lot of content in a whole variety of spaces. So you were a mentor this year at camp, and you gave a computational art lecture, which was super interesting, and everybody else gives a whole variety of stuff, everything from kind of cryptography to art to music to yoga, and how we apply computation to all of these really varied subjects, which is really fun for the kids.
And it's something like 30 to 40 students, right? Give or
Yeah,
take?
I think this year we have 45.
Right.
Yeah, so I think and last year we had 45 as well. So, we're kind of averaging out at 45 right now.
And they all have their own individual projects. So I know how those are chosen, but would you like to talk a little bit how those are chosen for the students?
Yeah, so the students tell us all the things that they are interested in, and tell us what they're excited to explore, what skills they want to learn, what skills they already have. And then as the camp director, I work with Stephen Wolfram to brainstorm a whole lot of projects that they could do, and kind of try and match them up a little bit with what they're, between their interests and their skills and what we can offer, what our mentors are strong at.
There are over 100 projects to choose from.
Yes, there's a long list of projects that the kids can kind of choose between. And then each student meets individually with Stephen Wolfram to talk through either a project idea that they've proposed or one that they've kind of chosen off his list. And then, we kind of merge all of those things together into a project that they do. And they're usually pretty intense projects. They kind of range from the upper high school to lower college level kind of academic work. And each kid has a mentor that they work with through the week, and there's a lot of kind of collaborative work that they do with other students. But yeah, mostly the goal for the kids of summer camp is doing this project, and the goal for us, the goal for me specifically is I want them to come out with all this computational thinking ability and a lot of critical thinking, a lot of growth mindset stuff. I want to try and develop their mindsets and the ways that they think about learning, because we get a lot of kids who come in and they're apologizing all the time and telling us that I can't do it, it's hard, and
I'm so sorry, I'm 15 and I'm really bad at this college level math thing.
Right, I'm how dare you be 15?
Yeah.
How could you do that to me?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I really try and encourage this mindset of development and learning and growth and iteration. You never get something right first time, and this is how computer scientists and scientists and stuff actually work.
Yeah, it's a good lesson for them to learn at that age.
Yeah.
And we both know that they are learning it at that age.
Yeah,
because,
they are.
the final product, in a sense, that the kids make is a computational essay, which is,
Yeah.
a notebook that has kind of their collected thoughts, their code, some explanations, some visualizations, conclusions that they found, kind of everything that they've done throughout. It's a representation of that. And, a lot of them will do this and they get very worried about it as they
Yeah.
do it. I mean, there's some self-selection, of course, for people who are interested to come to a camp like this, but they get very concerned about it. But it's okay. They gotta learn that soon.
Exactly.
Early on, rather.
Exactly. Yeah. And then my favorite part is we take about half of the kids from the summer camp afterwards, and we bring them into the Wolfram Emerging Leaders program, which was founded in 2019, and the kids voted to shorten that to WELP, so they're all part of the WELP program. And I put them into groups of 3 or 4 or 5 students, and they work on a group project over the course of an entire semester, instead of like a single project over the course of 2 weeks. And so it's a very different atmosphere. They have a lot more time to really develop their like thoughts and ideas and do more research. And they get to do a lot more collaboration and work together in a team. And
is that the sort of thing where, it's kind of after their regular schooling or during weekends, whatever times they can find that work between the 3 or 4 or 5 students?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and they're a pretty international bunch. So I try and organize them like by both interest and by time zone. So we try not to have 2 in America and 1 in Korea, and then it doesn't work. Nobody can do it.
That's one of the difficulties with running a virtual camp.
It is
as well.
It is. Yeah. But WELP is really cool. And they do a lot more. They do a big mix of like design thinking and computational thinking. So we take them through kind of iteration and ideation kind of as a methodology. So building their projects from nothing, coming up with hundreds of thousands of, ideas. And I tell them like 95% of what you come up with is going to be bad, and that's great. We love that. And then they always come up with these really insanely detailed, deep projects that I was never expecting. And definitely like better than anything that I wrote until like junior year of college. Like really great projects. Yeah. Really impressive kids.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So you mentioned design and computational thinking. Could you elaborate a little bit on the differences between these two things?
Yeah, totally. So computational thinking, has all kinds of formal definitions, some of which Stephen Wolfram has contributed to, and some of which are different to his view. For me, computational thinking is less about like your ability to code. Like critical thinking isn't about your ability to read. It's more than that. And so computational thinking for me is like the process of taking a problem and splitting it into its parts, finding out like really what the goal of your problem solving is, splitting it into its parts, finding patterns and solutions and algorithms that help you to solve it, trying again, failing, iterating over and over again, and then eventually you kind of wrap everything up together and you come to a solution, which then usually requires testing. Like the process of problem solving with computational thinking for me is never over.
Yeah, I have this particular graphic in mind as you make these hand motions.
There's
there's like a helical structure that describes these steps of computational thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe we can include that in the description.
Yeah, you can find that.
Yeah, I think it's
computer-based math website.
Way.
It's a good
Yeah,
one.
That's the one. It's a reasonable way to think about this, I think.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. I think the camps in particular do a really good job of instilling these ideas in the students, and I'm glad that some of them get to have this experience after the camp to extend this, because if you check out the projects that these kids do the camp, as you said, it's about 2.5 weeks, but they're only working on their projects for about, I would say, 12 days of that, maybe?
Less than that. 10?
10?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they do an unbelievable job of putting out just incredible projects in that amount of time. But even that said, it still is 10 days. Yeah. So having some more time available, that's got to produce some pretty interesting results. Yeah. So what other things do you work on that you inject computational thinking into, for lack of a better phrase?
Yeah. So this year was our first middle school summer camp. So we designed this 1-week program for kind of 11 to 13-year-olds, and we're really focusing on girls and other non-binary and queer individuals, to pull that group into STEM. And so it's a really focused week for these young kids to. And our real goal is computational thinking then. So they don't do a project, they don't do like a lot of external stuff, they don't really talk to many Wolfram employees. It's just a kind of 1-week introduction to Wolfram Language and to computational thinking. And so all of our mentors for that, all of the teachers are alumni from our high school summer camp. So they're all these kind of 19, 20-year-old really excited kids who've been part of summer camp and part of WELP. And coming back to mentor these younger kids. And during that week, we run through sections of the elementary introduction to Wolfram Language, and so we learn like how to make lists and what an association is, and all of the like super basic like syntax stuff. But what we really focus on is the development of this computational thinking structure within these kids' heads. So we want them to come out of there being able to problem solve. So we give them, we send them off into workshops and we say, make some art with your coding. And they look at me and they're like, what does that mean? That's not a task. No, you haven't told me what to do. What's the output that you want? And I'm like...
Clearly these kids should have come to my lecture in the high school summer camp.
They should have.
And they would have understood.
Yeah, we did give them the notebook. But, and so we'll send them off with like a very kind of ill-defined task and tell them to make something with code. And, the first couple of days, they're super shy. They don't know what they're doing. They look at you like you're crazy when you ask them to just do something open-ended, because that's not how a school functions.
Yeah.
And then by the end, they're like really excited and they're messaging me all these cool, like random code snippets that they've made. And they're, doing stuff in 3D and they're making graphs, and they went and found a data set online and now they've made a neural net. And I'm like, I didn't teach you to do that, but cool, well done.
Yeah, middle school Skynet camp.
Yeah.
Horrifying.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's really exciting.
Yeah, it's really nice for them to get that experience kind of early on there, because I think a lot of people find, even compared to, say, undergrad, once you get deeper into academia or, you go into the job market, you'll find that a lot of tasks are actually not that well defined.
Right.
And
nothing is defined.
If you sit there kind of freaking out and looking at everybody like, what am I going to do?
Yep.
Like they do in those first few days.
Yep.
It's not a good look.
No.
So it's nice to get that out of the way early.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, if the first piece of open-ended stuff that you do is your PhD dissertation, then somebody's failed you.
Yeah, that might make it slightly harder.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the easiest thing to begin with.
Yeah.
And that's a new program, right? It's only
it's a brand new program. So we did that this year for the first time. And that was virtual. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that some of the mentors for the middle school camp came back and their TAs. You said there's kind of the mentors for that were TAs for the summer camp, but then some of the mentors from the middle school camp came back and were TAs again for the high school camp. And I think everybody I spoke to had worked on that, just had a really nice time.
Yeah, and it's nice because we have this kind of what I'm trying to do in my job at Wolfram is create a kind of pipeline for people to really get into using Wolfram Language and to get into coding and into STEM in general. And now we start at 11 and we get these middle school camp kids to come to the high school camp, and then the high school camp kids, they come to the Emerging Leaders program, and then they come and they be a TA at the high school program, or they be a mentor at the middle school program, and then they go to our summer school for college students and for other adults. And
so it's like a whole computational thinking pipeline.
Yep, it's a whole life.
But seriously though, that's really nice that at that younger age they both get the experience of learning, and then they get to go back and take what they've learned and use it to teach other students. I mean, I'm biased because I've done a lot of teaching in my life.
Same.
But I find that teaching is really a fantastic way to kind of solidify and expand your own understanding of whatever material.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
it's nice that they get that.
No, it's really fun.
So if students are interested in applying for either of these camps, where should they go?
Well, our applications open in kind of late December, early January, and they can go to the website for the high school summer camp or the middle school summer camp, which I believe is on our education programs page, which is a new page, which is exciting. And yeah, I encourage people to apply as early as they can. For the high school camp, we send you a problem set, so you're asked to kind of learn just a little bit of Wolfram Language before you submit your application fully, which is an exciting opportunity even if you don't come. Kids can apply in January through the website, and
It's pretty soon.
it's pretty soon.
Yeah, it's coming up quick.
We're coming up already.
Yeah.
September went by real fast.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, and if you want to see projects that kids did last year, the year before, and all the way back to, I guess, 2011, you can go to the Wolfram Community website, which has all of their computational essays. They're all tagged with WSC.
And I think there's a Tumblr page we maintain too.
There is a Tumblr page.
Which has a bunch of like beautiful thumbnails of
Yes.
all the cool visualizations from all the kids' results.
Yep. So that's all on the website as well. You can go click on the gallery.
We'll make sure to include that so that viewers can take a look at that. It's very cool.
Yeah, it takes a lot of effort.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for all of that information, Rory. It's nice to see what we're getting up to on an education front. Especially, it's one thing. Our software is distributed in a lot of universities, of course. Basically every top university has a site license with us.
Right.
And that's, very good. We love that. But it is also great for high schoolers and middle schoolers to kind of get a chance to get in on this stuff earlier instead of just, coming to the software and they're like, I need to do an integral that I don't know how to do. Right. There's a lot more there than that. So it's nice to get them introduced earlier on. Right. Well, thanks a lot, Rory.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
See you next camp. That was Rory Foulger, and they told us about the many educational opportunities that we are offering here at Wolfram, in particular the summer programs and the post-summer programs, if I can call them that. So remember, the applications open up in December, January. If you're interested, or maybe your children are interested in signing up for the summer camps, applications open pretty soon. So keep an eye out for those. We hope to see you for future Tech Talks. We have plenty coming up, and we would love if you would listen to them. There's plenty of information there that I think you would find very interesting. So hope to see you in the next one. Bye.